author, and also a charisma coach. So Monique has performed all over the world in Japan, Europe, the United States, singing operas and lecture recitals. In her new career, she has now been part of a best-selling book called The Game Changers, Inspirational Stories That Changed Lives. Her presentation tonight is called Activating Your Authentic Voice. Please welcome Monique.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Olivia. I am super excited to be part of the Sing Your Heart Song Summit. I am so amazed at what you guys are doing here, and it's an honor to be part of it. And it's so much fun to watch it just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So I think we should get started. What do you think? All right, I am going to share my screen and away we go. All right, can everybody see my screen? Okay, so activate your authentic voice. We are going to be here and explore what an authentic voice is and how to activate it. This picture is my debut in Italy singing the role of Tosca. I was scared to death and I was trembling, but I knew that I had one thing going for me, and that was I was authentically me. And this American girl decided to step into one of the iconic roles in Italian opera. And it was the beginning of a really successful career. So I love to start with this photo because I'm just making my entrance and I'm kind of scared, but here we go. All right. So let's see. This is who I am. I have been Grammy nominated. I've won quite a few awards as an opera singer. I've sung in a lot of really cool places. But the most important thing right now is that I get to help countless singers and speakers unleash the full power and potential of the human voice. Our voice is our most underestimated and powerful tool. So I can't wait to get started and help you unleash your voice. The hashtag for this event is My Voice Matters. So if you would be willing to go into the chat and just put into the chat with all your heart, My Voice Matters, because it really does. We are living in a time where the world is crying out for leaders and people who are willing to speak and write from their hearts. We need each other. We need connection, and our voice matters. So thank you for putting that into the chat. Now, my question to you today, my friends, is what is an authentic voice? What is an authentic voice? You can go ahead and go into the chat and let me know. What is an authentic voice? What does that mean to you? We throw around that word authentic so much these days. What is an authentic voice? Let's see what you've got.
Truth. A voice that is unfettered by outside influences.
Yes, I love that. Truthful. Yes. Your own voice, whatever that entails, so long as it's yours. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Heart-centered, honest. Yes, these are all absolutely true. And as often is the case, we forget that it is also the key that unlocks our own heart. There is something that happens to a person when they speak their own name, when they speak from their heart a truth. All of a sudden, we open and connect, often terrified because we don't know how it's going to be received. But it is a phenomenon that happens when you start to love your own voice, to love and fall in love with your content, with your message to the world, and you hear yourself say it, your heart opens too. And your heart song has to be heard. Yes? All right. When I was a little girl, like most little girls, I wanted to grow up to be just like my mommy. My mother was an amazing singer. And on this particular day, she couldn't get a babysitter, and she was hired to sing here in New York City at Columbia University's chapel. And so she said, Monique, would you be willing to come with me? And I was so excited. It was the first time I had ever gotten to hear her live. I knew that's what she did, but she always went away and I never got to go with her. So we arrived in the chapel here in New York at Columbia University, and this chapel had a huge dome on it, and the acoustics were amazing because of this dome. And when the concert started, I ran away from whoever was supposed to be watching me because I was so intrigued with that dome. And I found my way to the top of it. And I looked down and I saw my mother, but she didn't look like my mother anymore. She had turned into this creature of light and sound, and the sound of her voice was vibrating through this dome and through my little girl body to the point that it was as though my whole being was being shaken from the inside. I had never had any kind of experience like that before. And so at the end of the concert, I went down, and my mother was surrounded with well-wishers who adored the concert and wanted to tell her how much they loved it. And I, little girl me, elbowed my way through, and I couldn't get to her. So I burst into tears. And my dear mother reached down and excused herself from her fans and said, Monique, what is it? And I said, are you my mommy? Are you still my mommy? And she smiled down at me and she said, yes, I am your mommy and I will always be your mommy, no matter what. And that day, I understood something in my little girl mind about how our voices can vibrate people. And it's something that most of us are not aware of. And as I continued my journey and I became a singer in my own right, my mother was my voice teacher. She was the one that believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. I worked very hard on my craft. It was very difficult for me to audition. I was very nervous, and it was a skill that I had to build, which I did. And I auditioned, got hired, started singing all over the world. And my mom was with me the entire time. via the internet, right? Before there was all this digital stuff, I was having voice lessons over the internet, and she was with me every step of the way. And every time we finished a session before my opening night, she would say, and remember, when you sing, God listens. So, as an adult, as a person that was actually going out into the world and using my voice to send my love and energy out into whatever theater I was working in, it occurred to me, what if that were true? What if God was listening? What if I was part of this divine experience? Now, not everyone is an opera singer. Not everybody knows how to use their voice in that particular way. I'm trained to sing over a 100-piece orchestra in a theater that seats over 1,000 with no microphone. But it occurred to me that our voices carry our essence out into the world. And what would that mean? These are the ways in which our voices are used in the world. These are the things that color all that we say or sing. These are the building blocks for true expression. The first is the breath. So if you're willing, I would like to teach you how I learned to breathe as an opera singer. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if you're willing, and just bring your conscious attention to the inside of your body, and bring your conscious attention to your belly. And I want you to pull it in and let it go. Pull it in and let it go. Pull it in one more time, let it go, and then inhale into what you've let go, filling your instrument from bottom to top. Pause for a moment, full of the life force, and then gently exhale, allowing your tummy to fall back towards the spine. Release any muscles that tightened, and then gently inhale and allow yourself ultimate relaxation as everything in you releases and fills. Pause for a moment, full of the life force, and then gently exhale, watching your tummy falling back towards the spine as you exhale. And now one more time for the power of 3. Release anything that has tightened during the exhale. And feel your inhale filling you from bottom to top. Pause for a moment, full. Feel that sensation of the life force, of the energy and power of the source of all there is. That is your breath. That is you. And then gently exhale. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes. And now just let me know. Give me a word or two to let me know how you doing, how you feeling, what's changed since we started. Yes, I love that. Yes. Wow. Filled. Yes. And yes, thank you, um, Dr. Santoro. When you speak, God listens as well. Yes, thank you. Now, just think about this. This was 3 belly breaths. And notice how you are in a completely different state. So, this is what we want to start from when we are speaking, when we are about ready to speak from our heart. We want to start from here. The next thing we explore is our tone. You know that thing when you're calling your beloved and they pick up the phone and all they have to do is say, hello? And you know exactly what mood they're in. You know exactly what kind of day they've had. You know a lot just by that hello. And so as we are speaking and presenting, or if we are reading our work, reading what we have written, we want to take these things into consideration so that we are bringing our magnetism and our charisma to it. Okay, the next thing we talk about is speed. Varying the speed at which your voice leaves your body is a very masterful thing to do when one is speaking. There are moments where you need to speak quickly and fast, but slow enough that you still can be heard. And then there are moments where you slow down to be sure that you are underlining and highlighting a lesson that you really want. This reminds me of a story of when I was a little girl. My mother used to read to me. And the story goes like this. Of course, I don't remember this, but she does or did. And she was studying philosophy, and apparently she was reading Hermann Hesse or something, you know. And I was like 2 or 3 years old, but she had to study sometime, right? So she was reading to me, and she read it out loud, and then she read it again more slowly, so that she was turning the idea around in her mind. So she read it again, and apparently little girl Monique said, "You read that already, dummy," and put my thumb back into my mouth. So the thing is, people are listening. And when you're playing with speed and tone, and your voice is being supported by your breath and your life force, you are speaking in a way that makes people listen, so that you are always heard. The other 2 things that are left in the building blocks of charismatic communication and creating a magnetic voice is presence. This is something that people talk about all the time, but they rarely define it. You've heard about stage presence and being present, and what is that? Well, what it is that energy that exudes from you without a word. It is that it factor that makes you compelling to watch. Like you can't wait to hear what they're going to say next. And most people believe that you're born with this and it can't be taught. But I know otherwise, because I've worked with people who have magnified their presence in such a way that before they say a word, you're engaged. And the last is passion. When we connect to our passion, that thing that burns within us, that thing that creates the impetus for creation, that thing within us that makes us have to speak, have to write, have to express ourselves because we want to connect and share. When we tap into that place within us and we put these 5 things together, magic happens. And I invite you all to play with these things, whether you're working on affirmations or presentations or trying to get your daughter to clean her room. I invite you to try it. See how it goes. All right. Let's see. Shut up! Most of us have either been told that or we do it to ourselves because we don't feel that we are important enough. We don't feel that anybody would want to hear what we have to say, or we've been shut down on some level by the people around us. So I want you to just, for a moment, imagine, what would life be like if you lost your voice? Most people do not think about this or consider this unless their voice is sick or hoarse and they have lost their voice. Our voice is our foundation. It is the expression of who we are. Yes? All right. Now, what if your voice could heal the world? What if you were courageous enough to open your heart and speak your truth, speak out into the world what your message is? And even if only one person was healed or changed by it, wouldn't it be worth it? What if your voice sent vibrations out into the world and you never know who's listening? What would you say? What is yours to say? The Native Americans believe that we each have our unique medicine for the world, and that each one of us has a piece of it. And that's why in a lot of Native traditions, they have what they call the talking stick. And they pass the talking stick around the circle. And when you are holding the talking stick, no one else speaks. You have the floor. And after you have spoken from your heart, whatever your message is for that moment, the only response is, ho. And what that means is the truth has been spoken and heard. Now, you. I've been doing a lot of speaking. Now I want to invite each one of you to play with me and put what we've been talking about into action right here, right now. I have created these affirmations. They've been affirmations that I have used for myself for many years, and I love working with them. I feel like they open things that people aren't even aware are there to be opened. So what I'd like to do is just invite a few volunteers to go through this process with me and allow your voice to be heard. So the exercise goes like this. Take a look at these affirmations and pick the one that speaks to you right now, the one that is calling your name. And then we're going to play. And we're going to speak using the 5 building blocks and all the things we've discussed today. Who's game to play with Monique and these affirmations? You can raise your hand digitally or just raise your hand and I'll see you. Anybody willing? Yay! We have one volunteer, one courageous volunteer. Dr. Santoro, thank you so much for being courageous.
You're welcome. You can call me Catherine. I wasn't born to die.
Okay. Catherine, thank you for that invitation. My mother raised me that you do not call people by their first name unless you are invited to do so. So I appreciate that. Okay, Catherine, which one of these affirmations is speaking to you today?
The second one, it is safe to speak my truth and express myself.
Terrific. All right. So now what I want you to do, if you're willing, is to take 3 deep breaths like we did. And as you're breathing, I want you to breathe into the place within you that this statement is true. And just be there and breathe there, bringing your conscious attention to the place within you where this statement lives. Because it called you, it means it lives within you. Awesome. I see it all over your face. You're ready to go. Okay, so here's how it's going to go. Okay, so you're going to release and inhale. Feel yourself full of the life force. And then it's going to be like catching a wave. You're going to know, and just trust that you know, you will know. You're going to catch the wave of the exhale and speak this truth for us.
Same statement, but
That's
okay.
right.
Okay. It is safe to speak my truth and express myself.
It's very vulnerable. So I really appreciate that. Tell me what's going on inside you. What's happening?
Well, when I felt more powerful when I said it after breathing, doing what you said to do. It felt like it was a true statement, and I felt it everywhere. Although when I was breathing before, I felt it in my throat, which usually means I'm blocking myself in my world, but it didn't in this case. So that was cool. So it still lives here.
Well, that is very interesting. I love that feedback. And here's why. Our throat, as you can imagine, is the seat of power. Our throat chakra is our power. That's where our power lives. And many of us, through our life experience, have felt powerless and unable to speak. And so when you're, again, aligning the breath with the place within you where this is true, all of a sudden this is open and free, and you don't have to do any work in order for that to happen. It's a lovely byproduct of being in alignment. So I would like to give you one more opportunity. Since you did it so well, let's see if we can go even deeper.
Okay. It is safe to speak my truth and express myself.
Okay, I'm imagining there was a little bit of more disturbance in the force this time. Yes?
Yes, because in my mind, the statement that kind of came up, or that I resonated with the most this time, with the last one, but I now allow the waves of my powerful voice to vibrate the world.
So you were of two minds, and we saw that. Right? And it was not, oh my God, she's of two minds. It wasn't that. It was just, we noticed that the alignment didn't go as deep, and it wasn't as certain within you, because the connection did a little bit of this, because your mind was playing with you. And I just want to bring this up. Thank you so much for this, because it's something that's really important for us to understand. Our natural inclination is power.
Okay.
But once we are experiencing it and breathing it and speaking it, our mind tends to rush in and distract us, because it's not in charge when we are in our passion and power. Our soul is.
Excellent.
So that's what often happens. So I want to invite you now, drop in, and you're going to get to say the one you want to.
Okay.
Okay? Drop in, feel the alignment. Feel the energy that is you at your most powerful and passionate. Feel your essence radiating out of your skin. Feel the shine. And go to the place within you where this statement is true, and let it speak you.
I now allow the waves of my powerful voice to vibrate the world.
Okay, how'd that feel?
Felt great.
Yay! Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Welcome. I never speak that loudly.
Well, I want to give you a little feedback to that. Raise your hand if you thought Catherine sounded like she was speaking loudly. Raise your hand if you thought Catherine was speaking powerfully.
I don't see anybody. I don't see the participants.
Okay, so most people are
Powerful?
saying powerfully, but
Okay.
in our experience, and this is what happens, which is why we don't do it.
Mhm.
It sounds too loud in our own head, because you are so aligned. It is vibrating your whole body, but it is not actually louder. It is more powerful, and more of you is in it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate
You're
it.
so welcome. Thanks for playing. All right. I think we have time for one more. If someone else would like to play. All right, Steve. Yay.
Thank you for that exercise. Catherine actually first chose the one that first spoke to me. It is safe to speak my truth and express myself. But subsequently, I think it's actually the first one that both I have speaks powerfully to me, and also I have a fair amount of reservations about.
Okay.
And you know, I walk in a circle of love and power, and that part I'm generally okay with. It's the second part that
Exactly. And I just want to say that it's so interesting, Steve, that you've picked number one. Very few people pick number one.
Mm.
And I, you know, I've never really thought about this, but it is, and I remember when I wrote it, I was really feeling unsafe to be seen in my life. You know, I was engineering my life so that I could play small. And so when I created this affirmation, I didn't feel it. Like I didn't know that. But I needed it. So here we go. All right. So here's the process. Okay. I'm going to invite you to do the belly breathing silently 3 times. Being sure to pause for that moment full of the life force. And now go to the place within Steve where this truth lives.
Okay.
And give yourself that moment where you're feeling yourself full of the life force and catch the wave. You'll know.
I walk in a circle of love and power, no matter what.
Yay! How did it feel?
Kind of a rebel yell.
Right. Right. Okay. So I want to give you another chance to do it because the rebel yell you needed. Now I want you to go to the place where this is true and there may be a quiet truth about it because of such certainty.
I walk in a circle of love and power, no matter what.
Okay, now you tell me. This is not about good or bad, by the way. So we're clear. It's all good. But what was the difference for you?
Well, when you invited me to do it the second time, I went to the redwood forest in my mind and stood at the base of those magnificent trees. And I mean, for one, I'm absolutely a tree hugger. But there's just a sense of love and power there. But it's a quiet power. It's not like, you know, here I'm a huge tree. There's a stillness and a beauty and a calmness to it that, you know, if Billy Idol were to break out with Rebel Yell, you know, it would seem a little incongruent. But if you could hear flutes or something, you know, playing in the background or harps or whatever, it would be, you know, amazing. And both of those have the potential of love and power. I think
That's it.
The harps and the flutes resonate a little bit more beautifully.
That is it. Thank you so much. This work is about giving you all the colors of your instrument, giving you all of the colors of the power and the love. And that's why neither one is better than the other. They both are true. And there are moments in life when we are speaking where this circle makes us feel like going, woo! Or makes us feel like going, oh. And I want all of you to have these colors at your fingertips so that you are all of your magnificence whenever you speak. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you all for being here with me. I want to give you these resources. Go to my website, themagneticvoice.com. I've got a blog, I've got a podcast so that we can continue the conversation. And for those of you who have been here with us here within the sound of my voice, you also get the gift of a personal voice of power assessment with me, where we can talk about your power and your passion and your presence and how to apply that to your life. And finally, please remember, now you are the voice. How are you going to vibrate the world with your message and your essence and all of the colors of you? Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Monique.
You're so welcome. I'm going to stop sharing. I think we might have a little time left. We've got 3 minutes. If somebody would like to ask a question, I'm here. All right. I bless your voices, everyone, and thank you for being here with me. Thank you, Steve and Olivia, for creating this beautiful space for us to sing our heart song.
Thank you so much. You bring I love that you have an incredible, recognized voice that, has been on stages around the world. And you bring with that voice hope for those of us who, cower when we are asked to, sing even the simplest little thing. That, no matter where you are on that spectrum, that your voice matters.
Yes. Thank you for saying that, because it is my mission. Because every voice matters. And I really believe that every voice has a healing message that the world needs. And our voice is as individual as our thumbprint, because it is a reflection of our life experiences. And no, not everybody's born to be an opera singer and to sing on a big stage in front of people, but everybody has a message that needs to be heard. So thank you. Thank you so much for recognizing that. I really appreciate you.
Likewise.
And I just want to say that voice of empowerment assessment with Monique is truly, truly, truly valuable. I mean, that is a $4.97 session to be in Monique land, as I And so, congrats to Catherine taking massive action. I think she's already booked a session with you. So amazing.
Awesome!
Yeah, like incredible. Just to continue that with Monique. And I've had the privilege and honor of taking that assessment. And I also did the virtual speaking mastery program with Monique, and everything that I've been stepping into is a reflection of that. So, the 20 minutes that you spend with Monique will be amazing.
I love it. I bless you all. Take care. Thank you so much, Olivia. We've been having a blast together, and we're cooking up more stuff. So I can't wait to see what happens next.